The Eagles escaped Brazil with a win. It's Overreaction Monday. Eagles beat the Packers 34-29 on Friday Night Football to kick the season off in Brazil. Guys, we got lots to talk about. The good, the bad, the ugly, the great. Got a whole Sunday of football to talk about as well. We're going to be live right here, trending in the AM, overreacting and discussing the first weekend of the football season, guys. We're live in 60 seconds. And a very good morning, everybody, and welcome to Trending in the AM right here on Edge of Philly Sports. We are live, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. You know the drill. Wherever you're watching, make sure you hit that like button, that share button, that subscribe button. Smash whatever buttons you see. Anywhere you see them, it's free to do. It doesn't cost you a thing to support this morning show and support this great show and network that we are on. And we've got lots to talk about today as the Eagles escape, squeak out a win in Brazil against the Green Bay Packers 34-29. I'm your host, Phil Stiefel. Right there. That's where you find me. That's my name. At Beard of Knowledge on all social media platforms. And we've got to talk about the Eagles game. It's kind of hard. Today's Overreaction Monday. Today's the day to overreact to what we saw in the sports weekend. But the fact that the game was on Friday night, I've had 2 full days to kind of just calm down, and I almost needed to do this show Saturday morning just to get the instant overreaction out of my system, because now after 2 days later, I'm ready to almost logically break down what happened, the good and the bad, on Friday night. Let me tell you something. First and foremost, Friday night football, I just love it. If I didn't have a pizza shop to wake up to the next day, Friday night football is fantastic. I wish the NFL, and I've been talking about this for years, would do more Friday football. But yes, we are going to talk all about it. We're going to dive right into the comments here because I see them flowing in already. Marshawn, of course, you're going to be one of the first people to say this. We do have to have a Jalen Hurts discussion today. We do. There's a good. When I say we're going to discuss the Eagles' good and bad, Jalen Hurts had a lot of good and a lot of bad on Friday night. We are going to discuss it. But like Little G says, they're 1-0. I mean, I know I kind of feel like I'm ready to rehash 2023 trending in the AM and the ugly wins, a win's a win conversation. We know how that went last year. Good morning to everyone except for Jalen Hurts and Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones is just a little. I'm running a poll. Yes, poll, Mitchie Boo. On my page right now, my Twitter page. Who's got the worst quarterback situation? The Giants with Daniel Jones or the Panthers with Bryce Young? Jesus. 31st worst quarterback in the league behind Daniel Jones. 30th. Come on. You're going to put Bryce Young ahead of Jalen Hurts? Come on now. I gotcha. Anthony, what's up this morning? What a great win. Hurts made some great plays and did enough to win. Quarterbacks all over the league struggled week 1 due to lack of preseason. Yeah, look, obviously Jalen Hurts and the offense struggled to start the game off. It was obviously less than ideal how Jalen Hurts started out, considering how last year ended. We wanted to see Jalen Hurts come out a ball of fire, and I'm not going to make excuses for him. I am going to dissect that first drive and how I'm not overly concerned about the first offensive interception. The second one in the end zone across his body, that was god awful. We'll discuss that as well. But there was a lot of poor football played this weekend. And some of those teams played in the preseason, Anthony. I am reacting appropriately. No more Brian Johnson to blame. And Nick Sirianni as the play call. Exactly. Look, we'll just kick this show off talking about Jalen Hurts. I mean, there's a lot of good I want to talk about. Saquon Barkley, Zach Bond, Nakobe Dean, Quinyon Mitchell. There's a lot of good I want to talk about. Crazy to say, at times, the defense was playing better than the offense. But Jalen Hurts did open up struggling. I'm gonna take the opening interception and I'm gonna throw it away. Think about it. They received the ball. They got the ball deep in their zone. First pass was an incomplete. Saquon Barkley on the first run slipped. On that interception, it was third and I think long. Backed up on the end zone, and he just flung it up over the middle, hoping to make something happen. It obviously was a terrible pass. But that kind of a play is like, well, we're going to punt anyway. This deep pass over the middle is like a punt. Just the Packers ended up returning it pretty far. There wasn't much that could be done on that first play and that first drive. That second interception from him, when we were driving down the field, and he threw across his body into the end zone. I think there's 3 Packers in the area and only 1 wide receiver for the Eagles. That was terrible. Okay, that was a terrible play. I will not fully blame him on the fumbled snaps. That is a little bit of the lack of preseason that I will blame Nick Sirianni for. You know, Cam Jurgens and him, obviously Cam Jurgens, new center, Jalen Hurts with a new center and a new offense coordinator. You didn't run a single preseason game to work the kinks out. So the snap issues, I blame a little bit on Jalen, a little bit on Cam Jurgens, a little bit on Nick Sirianni, and a little bit just on week 1 rust. So that's that. Jalen has been consistent since week 12, continues to put the team in bad spots. And he also continues to make big passes to A.J. Brown over the middle, big first down completions to Devonta Smith, running for a first down in a key moment, bowling over, a defender to extend the run to get the first down. So, yes, it was not pretty, Jalen Hurts, Marshawn, but it also was good at times. He did just enough to get them over the hump. Now, yes, he did just enough to put them to behind to begin with, but yes, you got to take the good and the bad. You can't only look at the bad. I'm willing to look at the bad. I'm willing to see the bad from Jalen Hurts, but I'm also willing to see the good. Now, 2-3 weeks from now, if we're still at this point, then yeah. But week 1 in Brazil, no preseason games. I'm going to slightly pass him on some of his mistakes. Not all of his mistakes, some of his mistakes. Jalen's decision-making worse than the Sixers front office. Well, yeah, he made some bad decisions. Absolutely. Can't we enjoy the win now? Can't we enjoy a week 1 win, Marshawn? I knew someone would start the Jalen Hurts hate on the show or criticism to start this show off. I didn't know who it would be. Not surprised at you. Look, Jalen Hurts. Let me pull up the full box score here. 20 of 34, 278 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, an 80.3 quarterback rating, a 39.2 QBR. That's really bad. Look, Jalen Hurts has to be better next week against Atlanta. He has to be better on Monday Night Football for sure. But the one thing I will say about Jalen Hurts, if you watched any football across the NFL yesterday, you realize there's a lot worse quarterback situations than what we are dealing with here in Philadelphia. Eagles scored 34 points against a tough Packers D. Go look at how Burrow yesterday cost me so much money, Anthony. And between DFS and whatchamacallit, my betting on DraftKings Sportsbook, Joe Burrow killed me because I had a lot of Bengals winning that game and covering the spread. That was not good. Jalen is excused already, right on cue. No excuse. But it's not an excuse. It's looking at the good and the bad, Marshawn. I have literally blamed him for throwing the triple coverage into that end zone multiple times. That play, that interception he threw across his body in the end zone could have been the difference of us winning and losing that football game. 100%. It ended up not. All of that good, and the fumble on the one. See, I will say this. I haven't gone back and rewatched that. The bad snap in the shotgun formation, that was on Cam Jurgens. I don't know how I missed the fumbled snap, whether I was on my phone tweeting or doing something with one of the dogs. I missed that snap. I think I might have seen it on replay. Maybe it like hit the side of the end. I don't know. I'm not sure if they spoke after the game about that one, if he or Cam Jurgens talked about what happened there. Yeah. He cost us in two different moments opportunities to put points on the board. But then he always follows up those mistakes with that big run for a first down, the big throw to Devonta Smith or A.J. Brown, the big first down pass to Dallas Goedert. So for every mistake he makes, he still makes another good play to make up for it. How much of the win on Friday night, Marsha, and I'm asking you specifically, since you're the one that wants to criticize Jalen Hurts. And yes, Jalen Hurts did not play a great game. I'm not excusing him. How much of the win was the Packers fumbling the ball, figuratively, or Jalen Hurts overcoming mistakes and still leading the team to win? Mike's on the criticize Jalen Hurts. Look, again, Jalen Hurts deserves criticism today. There is no doubt about it. Phil, I got to say, I only remember one significant curl route, which was AJ caught and gained 20 yards. Yeah, for some reason, I kind of forgot to look for curl routes. I didn't even pay attention, so I don't even remember which one was a curl route. He gets a pass on criticism here along with Bryce Harper. No, I criticize everybody equally. I criticize Bryce Harper from time to time. Right now, I'm criticizing Rob Thompson for not resting him, but it seems like half the Phillies team is now on the injured list after losing the last two games in atrocious fashion to the Miami Marlins. Enjoy the win. If they still look ugly after 3 or 4 games, then we can worry. So this is the thing. I am excited. I hate an early bye, but the early bye in this season with what the Eagles are looking at with a new coordinator, with question marks and stuff, they can, after 4 games, they can make pivots early in a bye week. So that is something that I'm excited about. I'm just keeping it real. Jalen nodded after 1. Yeah, look, Jalen Hurts. I watched a lot of football yesterday. I set the extra TV up out on the patio, and I was watching a lot of football yesterday. Jalen Hurts did not play well. No doubt about it. Neither did Jordan Love. Neither did a lot of other quote-unquote elite quarterbacks yesterday. So how much of it is rust? How much of his Jalen Hurts' play yesterday his fault? How much of it's on Nick Sirianni for not playing them? Those first 2 or 3 drives were as poor as possible. And you see the Eagles defense, who all played for the most part, at least some series in the preseason, looked ready to go right from the first offensive drive for the Packers. The Eagles defense was flying all over the place. How much of Friday's mistakes, Marshawn, were Jalen just not playing well, and how much of it was Jalen's rust? The interception in the end zone and the fumble on the goal line, that's on Jalen. Some of the lack of plays not moving and the miscommunication with the center, that's on the rust. So there's a little bit of both in that there. The thrill of victory and the agony of hearing about it. Exactly. Anthony, look, it is what it is. And there's a lot of good to dissect away from Jalen Hurts on this game. A lot of good on the defense. Obviously, Saquon Barkley. Honestly, if DeAndre Swift, not Saquon Barkley, was our running back, I don't know if we win. Saquon Barkley was the real deal right from the get-go. After the second play, because the first play, he slipped his first run and put us in a hole there. Look, Saquon Barkley, over 100 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 on the ground, 1 in the air. And to all the Jalen Hurts criticism that he rightfully deserves, that pass he made to Saquon Barkley in the end zone, into a spot that only Saquon Barkley could catch it, and Saquon made an amazing catch. A bad quarterback cannot make that throw into the end zone to Saquon Barkley. That throw to Saquon Barkley was pinpoint accurate. Just saying. The Bengals trash out Survivor Pool Week 1, yeah. The Bengals, Joe Burrow, elite quarterback. He looked pretty goddamn bad on. Is Cincinnati calling for him this morning? Is trending in the Cincinnati AM calling for his head? I don't know about that. But, yeah, Hurts' decision-making was awful and held onto the ball too long. But that's what happens when you don't play your starters for a few snaps in the preseason. And that's a question, Duck, that I have. How much of the rust early in the game from Jalen Hurts and the mistakes from Jalen Hurts were bad play, and how much of it was rust? How much different would the offense have looked early on if they would have played a couple drives in the preseason, a quarter of football in preseason game 2? And I don't know if there's an answer to that. But depending on how this season goes and what who's here next year, et cetera, we might see a new philosophy on that next year. We went 11 weeks of accepting win is a win, and first week we're back to accepting it. But a win is a win, right? I never stopped accepting a win is a win last year. We just stopped winning last year. This Eagles team is far from perfect. We know that. But they still played better than a heck of a lot of other teams. The snap hit his arm. Yeah, the shotgun fumble, that was not on him. That was on Cam Jurgens. I'm almost positive that was on Cam Jurgens. This isn't just a preseason rust. He's been like this since last year. A lot of hero ball. I saw a little bit less of the hero ball just on that one interception in the end zone. Again, I don't really know. Again, I didn't stay up to watch any of the post-game press conferences or anything like that. I don't know what he was thinking on that first interception on the first drive. If he was just like, whatever. Pocket was collapsing. And we're all criticizing Jalen Hurts. How much criticism goes on the offensive line? And I know, and nobody wants to criticize the offensive line because Saquon Barkley rushed for 100 yards. But the offensive line and pass protection was not very good. Jalen Hurts got hit 5-6 times. He got sacked a couple more times. He was under pressure a lot. But God forbid, Lane Johnson gave up a big sack, but it was supposed to be an offsides. Well, Lane Johnson should be criticized for not playing to the whistle, for just letting the guy run by him and assuming a whistle was going to be called. So there is room to blame a bunch of people on the offensive side of the ball, not just Jalen Hurts. Marshawn over here acting like we lost and Jalen is the worst. I know Daniel Jones, Bryce Young, Joe Burrow. There's a lot of bad quarterback play, much worse than Jalen Hurts, Kyle, yesterday. That 8-minute drive to kill the clock was amazing. Yeah, the end drive where we basically ran out the clock there to end the game. That was Jalen Hurts. That was Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley and everybody else. Jalen Hurts bowling over somebody and pushing forward. Jalen Hurts, the runner, is fine. Jalen Hurts, the RPO guy, he needs to stop pulling the ball back and trying to get those 2 yards. I don't know what it is with Jalen Hurts on those RPOs. He is not good at them anymore. His decision-making on RPOs is not good. See, Marshawn, I can criticize Jalen Hurts. The RPO Jalen Hurts portions of the game, that play, if I was Kellen Moore, would be thrown out. I would have dropped it out of the plane while we're flying back from Brazil. Barkley, Smitty, and AJ won us the game. Jalen opened the door for the Packers to win it. Yeah. Jalen Hurts is the one that had to get the ball to Smitty and AJ too. It's not like Saquon Barkley was throwing the ball to AJ Brown. Just so you know. Y'all keep defending Jalen. I don't understand what you're saying. We're not defending Jalen Hurts. We're just not saying the sky is falling on Jalen Hurts. You're ready to pack the bag in on Jalen Hurts after week 1. Jalen Hurts did not play perfect. Jalen Hurts made some great plays. Why can't it be down the middle on Jalen Hurts, Marshawn? Why does it have to be he's awful and he was the problem and the only problem and he lost us, he almost lost us game? Why can't it be Jalen Hurts did some bad and Jalen Hurts did some good? I'm going to ask a serious question. Why can't we objectively look at the good and the bad? Why do we have to only focus on the bad that Jalen Hurts did? Because there was a lot of bad this entire weekend from a lot of quarterbacks. But most cities outside of New York and some others, there was good as well. And Jalen Hurts played well throughout that game. Yes, he made a lot of mistakes. He did potentially put us in spots to lose that game, but he also put us in spots to win the game. You got to be able to see it both sides, not just on one side. Jalen Hurts the entire Phillies. I still can't believe it. I watch no baseball Saturday or Sunday. I ain't going to lie. Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. I'm not going to lie, Mitch. But the fact that the Phillies blew the last 2 games against the Marlins, atrocious, atrocious, atrocious. We are going to talk about the turf conditions for sure. Working on getting Martin Frank, who was down there in Brazil covering the game, on Wednesday to talk about the experience in Brazil and the turf. But the turf, how dare the NFL? The NFL is lucky as hell that Jordan Love's injury is a minor MCL sprain. They say 3 to 6 weeks, but they're hopeful earlier in the shorter prognosis or the shorter return for him. They are lucky no one had their season ended down there, Duck. How you can go out there and play a game of football and try to promote the NFL in Brazil and have even the refs getting injured or getting, having to come off the field because of the conditions on the turf. Atrocious. And honestly, Roger Goodell should be massively embarrassed by that, but he won't say anything bad. Marshawn would rather have Danny Dimes. Yeah, Danny Dimes was getting booed, already. We got to get a beer. I totally agree. Look, why can't we look at it down the middle, Mike? Why is it only focusing on the bad? Why can't we look at the bad and the good? Because Jalen did bad and Jalen did good. There's a difference between what Daniel Jones did or Bryce Young did, which was awful the entire games, or what Jalen Hurts did, which was make mistakes, but still lead the team to victory. How much did the field condition affect Jalen's throw into triple coverage? Because that was consistent with last year. Again, we know he made 2 really bad throws into triple coverage, but he also made some pretty darn good throws. Why are you only focused on the 2 throws in the triple coverage and not any of the other throws? The tough throws to Devonta Smith that then Devonta Smith was able to turn into first downs. Yeah, you'll say the A.J. Brown. It was all A.J. Brown probably. Still had to find A.J. Brown on that. Jalen Hurts had 2 really bad throws, but he had a lot of really damn good throws as well. 2 gross body throws in the double coverage is not rust. He needs to be accountable. Just manage the game. Look, I'm trying to hold him accountable, but I'm also trying to discuss the fact that there can be good and bad in the same game. We won. We put up 34 points in this game. Was Jalen Hurts bad on that throw to Saquon Barkley in the corner of the end zone, where literally there's probably only like 3 or 4 quarterbacks in the NFL that can make that throw? Seriously. Why are we only focused on it? Yeah, okay, so for the 2 throws into double coverage, let's just throw out that throw to Saquon, because there's that's a double standard there by Marshawn and by some others here. So true, Kyle. These dudes are so you can tell they don't watch other teams. Yeah. Pump Man gets it. Who's Pump? Oh, that one there. Yeah, gotcha. What's up, Rick? I'm such a great mood. The Eagles are 1-0 and not 1-0-1. Exactly. We're here having an argument, but we're 1-0. Some people just can't be happy. Who is going to get more slander this week, Hurts or Burrow? Seems like Hurts is in this chat. Absolutely, Joe. And look, again, he was not perfect. I've literally spent 25 minutes talking about Jalen Hurts. Have not mentioned Saquon Barkley. We haven't gotten to the defense. I barely tried to talk about the offensive line because all anybody wants to do is criticize Jalen Hurts. I think it's kind of bogus. Yeah, he had 2 really bad throws into triple teams, triple coverage. But he also threw some dimes out there on Friday night. Exactly. Go freaking Birds there, Timothy. So comparing a bad quarterback to other bad quarterbacks is acceptable. But again, was he bad? He made mistakes. But we won the game, and he made some amazing throws and runs late in the game. I'd take what Jalen Hurts did on Friday night over what 90% of the quarterbacks did around the NFL this week so far. Without a doubt. Blinders. Yeah. Because I didn't see, that throw to Saquon Barkley. Oh, no. That must have been Tanner McKee or Kenny Pickett throwing that ball to Saquon Barkley in the end zone. That must have been, Nick Foles throwing to A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith. That must have been, Carson Wentz throwing the ball on that big pass to Dallas Goedert that got 30 yards. I guess Jalen Hurts didn't make those throws. I guess it was Michael Vick running for that first down to extend that drive. Jalen Hurts didn't make any of those plays. That was somebody else. The problem is we won't know about until game 3 or 4 about is this the Hurts we are getting this season or if it's just rust. Exactly, Duck, 100%. Kellen Moore's plays got me excited though. The motion before snaps. Kellen Moore, Brian, and this we can agree on. See, we can agree on some things. I don't know the exact number, but Jalen Hurts under center was much more frequented with Saquon Barkley. And I read a stat. I didn't write it down, but Saquon Barkley against how many were in the box percent-wise versus what he faced with the Giants because you got A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith on the outside was so much less than he's used to. That's why he was able to run so well. I'll happily take ugly wins every week. Look, we'll tell you we had this conversation all last year. And all those ugly wins ended up turning around into a bunch of losses later in the season. And I understand that argument. I truly do. Dak played great yesterday, but he's not like the other quarterbacks who played bad. I didn't watch all of that game yesterday. By the way, on that Dak game, does anybody want to comment on Tom Brady, the announcer? Are we giving him a pass, or was he as bad as I thought he was yesterday during that game? The end zone interception was AJ calling the ball, showing that he's going to be right, but he slipped and the ball was late. There was a lot of slipping on Friday night on Packers side and the Eagles side. A lot of wide receiver slips, a lot of quarterbacks slipping, not on the 2 Jalen Hurts interceptions, but I think he slipped on the goal line fumble. He did, I think. I want to say I saw a foot slip there. Again, Duck, the field conditions on Friday were atrocious. Saquon will have a better season. Christian McCaffrey, maybe. I mean, that was pretty amazing seeing Saquon Barkley and then watching what the Giants weren't able to do, and they chose Daniel Jones over Saquon Barkley. Steve, good morning to you, my man. All winning is always beautiful. Appreciate winning, or the universe will reward you all with losing. All about perspective. I mean, I get that they want to focus on the negative, but there's a way to dissect the game. The good, that's why I say the good, the bad, the ugly. The good was Jalen Hurts at times, Saquon Barkley, the defense at times. The bad were the turnovers, and the ugly were the field conditions. So I am willing to look at all sides of the equation. Certain people just want to focus on the 2 or 3 mistakes that Jalen Hurts made instead of all the other stuff that he did well. Pump man, he looked good calling plays, except when they got cute on 2nd and 1. And I think I remember tweeting something about this, but I forget what it was. Dak did get paid $240 million, 4-year deal. I think that was a quite large contract for Dak Prescott that he received yesterday. Tush push needs to be used less. Agreed. I think the RPO in general needs to be less as well. We said last year that Jalen Hurts wasn't good on those run pass options or when he pulls the ball back out of the shotgun and tries to take off because he was injured. Maybe he's not. I don't know. I think Jalen Hurts is better with either directly called runs or just passing the football. When he's got to make those decisions, do I hand it off or do I run it myself? That is when he struggles. And he does make that mistake. That is something I'm willing to criticize Jalen Hurts on. Maybe last year's struggle in those play calling weren't the injuries. He's just not good at that. He does not know when to keep the ball and when to hand the ball off. That is my big criticism of Jalen Hurts. Just throw that play away. You criticize equally as you blame other factors. Because there's more than one factor that goes into what you're criticizing. You're not willing to see all sides of the equation. I'm trying to bring up everything, the good, the bad, and the ugly. You're just focused on Jalen Hurts' 2 throws into triple coverage and his fumbled snap. That's it. You're not willing to look at one. You haven't addressed, I've brought it up 14 times already, the throw to Saquon Barkley in the end zone. A bad quarterback can't make that. Daniel Jones can't make that throw under pressure, just so you know. A wide receiver jet sweep. That was the most successful play this weekend. We saw a lot of motion, but we didn't see that play. I would be shocked if we don't see it soon, Brian. The O-line. Look, I got criticized on Twitter because I put the offensive line pass protection into the duds of the weekend. I think Lane Johnson needs to be called out for getting Jalen Hurts smoked on a play that probably was a false start or not offsides. Flag wasn't thrown, play wasn't blown dead, and Lane Johnson just let the guy run by him. You play to the whistle. But God forbid you criticize anybody on the offensive line, anybody involved with Jeff Stoutland. Jalen Hurts was under pressure the entire game in pass protection or because of pass protection issues. But yeah, they didn't play either. Now, run blocking, the offensive line was great. Opened up holes for Saquon Barkley. But can't criticize the offensive line. If it is the pass bogging, in which I agree, why isn't he using a 3-step drop and getting rid of the ball? I saw him a few times. If it's the pass blocking, okay, I got you. I see your next comment. I thought I saw 1 or 2 quick plays like that, quick step drop throw. I don't know why they don't do it more often. I didn't see any. I don't think I remember seeing any under center play action passes. That's something I would have liked to have seen more of, which would have, once Saquon Barkley gets going, you run that play action, and that gives you a little bit more time. Again, maybe some of it was rust as well, and then not playing in the preseason. It's your show. You can be bitter and you can be mad at me because I don't want to stay focused on 3 bad plays only. I've said it over and over again. Those 3 plays were bad. Your comments it's free to comment. You ought to keep commenting just on 3 things and ignoring the other things I'm asking about. That's your decision, Marshawn. Your call. Why should we care about bad quarterback play outside of Philly? We don't have to. We don't have to worry about the other play. You're sitting here talking like Jalen Hurts was the worst like we were watching A.J. Feely back there or Bobby Hoying back there. You're acting like Jalen Hurts lost us the game. We won the game because of Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts put us in a position where he had to make super plays late in the game. Sure. Look at the whole picture, not 3 plays. That's all I'm asking you. I'm asking you to comment on any play outside of those 3 bad plays. Hurts was great against the blitz. He was good. Not great. Not bad. He was okay. Steve, he was when there was motion. When it was static, he threw 2 picks. Yes, he was. 11 likes is not good enough, Mitchie Poo. The same reason you look at the good, which is beautiful to your eyes, I look at the bad and it's hard to overcome. But see, I am looking at the bad. And I have massive concerns about the interception he threw in the end zone. Because those are the kind of plays that you cannot make in big games. Week 1, you can mask that interception in the end zone. You lose game 1, you can overcome it. But you make a throw like that in the playoffs, you lose the game and your season's over. I'm willing to know that that's a bad play. And that's something he has done before and he shouldn't be doing. But I also look at the good that he does. I look at it from all sides, not just one. I don't have the blinders on. Unfortunately, you might be offended by this, Marshawn, but you're the one with the blinders on, not me. He had a pick six, which was dropped, but man, did he run beautifully on that. Nakobe Dean had a pick six that was dropped. That could have been the end of the game. You're the one with the blinders on, Marshawn, not me. Okay, here's the question of the day. Did Lori and Howie call Sirianni to talk about winning by the run a la Doug Peterson? Yeah, that's a good question. That's a good question, Doug. There we go. There you go. This fan base accepts mediocre play. No, we want perfection. We want wins. So would you rather be a quarterback, Marshawn? Yeah. Who's going to do better than Jalen Hurts did last night, on Friday night? Stop. You'll take your blinders off. Phil, he wasn't bad at all. Over 300 yards, 2 touchdowns, lead 6. Yeah. Look, I'm not criticizing Jalen Hurts massively. I'm accepting he made some mistakes. But, man, somebody who doesn't throw into triple coverage. Again, Marshawn, blinders. Haters going to hate, be happy for the win. It's not that serious. You play to win the game. Darius Brothers, absolutely. 100%. Hurts was 6 for 8, 91 yards and a touchdown against the blitz, while also scrambling once for 8 yards and a first down. Thank you, statistician Kyle. Glad to have the statistician in the comments to give us the official numbers. Yeah, time to bench someone 6 for 8, 91 yards and a touchdown against the blitz. Exactly. Exactly. DB, we're getting killed because of the field on both sides. Absolutely agree. The defensive backs and the wide receivers and the quarterback all struggled. Probably maybe some of the pass rushing struggles were just like in the Super Bowl, couldn't get off the line because of the turf. The turf was atrocious. But it was made abundantly clear we don't watch other teams, but the chat didn't see Dak and CD run it up against the Browns defense. I watched the first half of the game, and it was much closer in the first half. I watched a lot of football up to that time. Let the wife take over the TV about halftime of that game. I won't lie. I was just watching the box scores on my phone. But when it was bad last year, it was all Brian Johnson. Now we're talking the good with the bad. We always have talked the good and the bad. I've always tried to see all sides of it. Unfortunately, some people have blinders on. DJ, a.k.a. We've changed Mister's name to DJ, a.k.a. Mister. I have played a football game on a slippery, wet surface. It's literally like playing football with roller skates on. You can go forward and backwards, but you can't stop or go sideways. Yeah, again, Mister, the NFL should be embarrassed that they played football on a field like that. They are lucky that no serious injuries happened on either team. Jordan Love, they're saying 3 to 6 weeks, but they expect it to be the shorter end of the 3 to 6 weeks. They're lucky. If that was an ACL tear for Jordan Love and he was out for the season, the NFL would have a hell of a lot of other things to answer to. Did you see how bad Sean was? Dak was sacked 3 times and threw for a touchdown. Dallas defense won that game. Okay, well, I didn't watch enough of it to know. Did Dak throw into triple coverage? Okay. Again, stuck on 2 plays. But that's okay. But I'm the one with blinders on. No pressure. There was no pressure. I haven't had time to even talk about any of the good or bad on the defense, Nooms, because all I'm doing is sitting here arguing because 2 people in the comments have blinders about Jalen Hurts. Have blinders on just because they want to hate Jalen Hurts just to hate him. They won't see the good and the bad. They only see the bad. So we can't even talk about the defense and how good the defense was at times. At times there was that what was that? That was it Jalen Reed? Was it like a 70-yard touchdown? There was a lot of bad tackling on that. But for the most part, the defense was extremely good. They just never got pressure on the quarterback. And I'm just drawing comparisons from past experience. We had trouble getting pressure in the Super Bowl 2 years ago because of wet field conditions or slippery field conditions. I wonder if the field conditions had anything to do with it. Right now, I'm a little concerned about Nolan Smith and Bryce Huff. We'll see in Atlanta if it's any different. No, bad, but I've seen Dak run out of bounds on the 4-yard line with the game on the line. Yeah, we've all seen that. Reffing was awful this whole weekend, too. Yeah, is there an initiative? Is there an initiative to call more illegal formations? Because they were called all weekend long. There was like 17 penalties in the Eagles Packers game. Just overall, pretty poor reffing, missing a lot of calls, but calling. It's weird. The reffing this weekend, mainly in the Eagles game, I didn't pay attention to the reffing closely in the other games I watched, but it looked like they were trying to call a lot of ticky-tack fouls, and they let a lot. Like, Quinyon Mitchell played well, but Quinyon Mitchell got away with a hold on one play and very handsy on another play. They both could have been called, but they weren't. But we called 87 illegal formations and, 57 illegal man downfields and 91 false starts. You know what I mean? Like, it was really weird what they were zoning in on. Bring back Matty B. Good luck with that. I thought we're talking week one. We're talking everything. Don't you use past experiences to digest what's going on now? Don't you draw? You're drawing, Marshawn, you're drawing from the past on Jalen Hurts and bringing up Brian Johnson. But I bring up something from the past. It's not okay. Just so you know, that's acceptable. I said on your show before the preseason started, I didn't like the passing the year that they went to the Super Bowl. The only reason why Jalen didn't get sacked was because he could run around. Yeah, I mean, Jalen can run around. I'm torn on the Jalen run around conversation because certain times he looks really good at it, and other times he looks like he doesn't know what he wants to do, or he's scared to take a big hit. Like in those RPO, those where he pulls the ball back and tries to run, he looks so unsure of himself when he used to be great at it. But on design runs or scrambling, there was one play that he was getting pressure and he stepped up and avoided a sack and he completed a pass. I forget who it was to. He was in the third or fourth quarter. But yeah, so he moves well in certain situations. But that RPO situation, he moves so inconsistently. To a play like, yeah. Yeah. Don't disagree with any of that. 3 bad plays. Did he not throw a pick six before the throw across the body? He didn't throw a pick six. Did the Packers score a pick six? I don't remember a pick six. I don't. He almost lost us that game. Phillip, first off, it's 1L, not 2. All right. Let's not call me Phillip. You're not my mother. Well, maybe you are my mother. Maybe my mother is like you're my mother's burner account, but she would know to spell my name the correct way. Marshawn. He almost lost us a game. You say I've got blinders on, but you're saying he almost lost us the game. But he did. Woke up. Yeah. Somebody shit in Marshawn's Cheerios this morning. Sit this one out, Mitchie. Yeah. I saw a stat that said his 2.8 seconds time to throw on Friday would have been quicker than almost every game last year. Yeah, Anthony, I agree. Don't gaslight me. Oh, I'll gaslight you whenever I want. Hurts had 2 runs and 5 really bad ones. Yeah. What's this? Wins. That's right, JT. Wins matter, right? Wins matter right now. Mike, if you're hold down, brother. If you're still in the chat, hold it down, brother. Oh my goodness gracious. Court 12. K1, it's interesting this morning. It's interesting because we can't talk about the defense. We can't talk about Saquon. We can't talk about the offensive line. All we can talk about is Jalen Hurts today. I mean, I get it. Jalen Hurts is the quarterback of the football team. That's where the conversation goes. If there's any criticism from this past weekend, it should go to Topper. Yeah. Look, Brick, I ain't going to lie. I didn't watch Friday night because of the Eagles game. Saturday night I worked. I had it on at the pizza shop, put on in the background. And Sunday I was watching football all day. I watched no baseball since Thursday. I did. And the fact that they lost the last 2 games 19-6 is pretty atrocious to the Marlins there. Looked like Hurts passed up some easy runs. I don't think he wants to run anymore. Like, is that crazy to say that Jalen Hurts doesn't want to run anymore? That's kind of how I felt, Nooms, from the game, that he doesn't want to run. Or maybe he doesn't want to take the hits. Marshawn is playing devil's advocate. No one could be this angry at a quarterback. Maybe, mister. Maybe. Or maybe he's just got blinders on. Stats don't make you smarter than you are. Look, stats give you some information. NFL don't give 2 hoots about these guys. That is true. See, Mike, we can agree on that. Because all Roger Goodell cares about is the millions and millions and millions of dollars that they made by growing to Brazil. On the flip side, they are lucky nobody got hurt. If somebody would have gotten hurt a little bit more serious in that game, if Jordan Love would have torn his ACL, he would have had to call David Archeri, the Cherry Law Firm, because that would fall under the workers' compensation situation that he represents in the state of Pennsylvania. Workers' compensation, motor vehicle accidents, personal injury, criminal law. Call the best in the state of Pennsylvania. Call David Archeri at 610-565-0300 or go to cherryinjurylaw.com. Make sure you mention Edge of Philly Sports. Make sure you mention Trending in the AM. Again, let David Archeri fight for you and get you what you deserve. His number again is 610-565-0300 or go to cherryinjurylaw.com. There you go. We hit the under. When was the last time I did that one first? Is Marshawn spinning? Oh, I'm spinned up because I supposedly have blinders on because I'm looking at the good and the bad. Marshawn only wants to look at 2 throws into triple coverage. How many times have you mentioned the Saquon throw? Maybe the status kid, but you're avoiding it. You're avoiding the good just to focus on the bad. I want to look at the good and the bad. What I'm focusing on everything. You're focused on 2 plays. What about the AJ throw? Oh, Kyle, don't bring that up. It's all AJ Brown. You could have thrown that ball to AJ Brown. You would have scored a touchdown probably, right? That's what the blinders would tell you. Okay, let's talk about the good. Zach Bond balled out. Zach Bond, look, I know he had a really great camp. I know the Eagles were high on Zach Bond, but he was the best linebacker on the field. He was the best front 7 guy on the field. All over the place. Slid outside at times, played great in the middle. Zach Bond had a hell of a game, Duck, on Friday night. Massively impressed with, actually, I was massively impressed with the linebackers as a whole. Nakobe Dean had some bad plays at times. He got beat by, I think, the tight end deep down the field. But in the box, he had that big hit on a screen pass or a swing pass, and he was in the backfield a lot. Zach Bond and Nakobe Dean's play on Friday night was better than any linebacker performance combination from 2023, hands down. That was linebacker play we haven't seen in a while in Philadelphia. So that is definitely a positive. Stats don't make you smarter than you think you are. We just use stats to back up our theories. Hurts looked a little too much like Dakota for my liking. That's interesting because of Kellen Moore. Smith is too light. He had several good lines on the quarterback, but was pushed off that. Nolan Smith, Bryce Huff. I saw Nolan Smith once or twice almost do something, but Bryce Huff was non-existent. Non-existent. Do you guys know that Brandon Graham played more snaps than Bryce Huff or Nolan Smith? I mean, Brandon Graham's in his 15th season. He's in his farewell tour. Last year, he averaged like 25% of the snaps. He played 46% of the snaps on Friday night. Nolan Smith and Bryce Huff were an issue. Calling more illegal formations to setters the NFL's way of controlling more games to go the way they want. Maybe. Apparently, there was no good football at all. Only bad plays happened in a win. Exactly, Steve. Exactly. Is spinning up Phil. Good. Look. I love it. It's Overreaction Monday. We can overreact. Do whatever. It's a free country. It's free to comment here. It doesn't cost a thing to comment here. It doesn't. We can all have our opinions. Like I always say, your opinions actually matter. It doesn't mean we have to agree. But at least I'm giving Marshawn and Mike their opportunity to have their opinions heard. Everyone else, other shows, would just block or push these guys off the side or just not even show their comments anymore. Would just ignore them. But here I am. I'm still addressing every single one of them. Past experience and Jalen fumbled in the Super Bowl. It cost us 7 points. Hey, I have massively brought that up, Marshawn. You know I've brought that up many of times. You know I say that play was one of the major reasons we lost that Super Bowl. Everyone wants to blame James Bradbury for the hold. But that situation doesn't happen if Jalen Hurts doesn't fumble. Jalen Hurts doesn't fumble if Isaac Seumalo doesn't have the false start on the play before, but that's another subject. Then that's me making an excuse for Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts couldn't fumble there. I do it. I've been making just with my good eye. Just with my good eye. Those are not RPOs. They are read. I'm sorry. Yeah, my apologies, Jack. You're right. I call them RPOs. They are read options. The read option needs to go. I would be so happy if I never saw a read option ran again because Jalen Hurts seems like he has no idea what to do. And Nakobe Dean dropped the pick 6 as well. And then we gave up a touchdown. If you want to blame Jalen Hurts for a drop, for almost throwing a pick 6, can we blame Nakobe Dean for dropping a pick 6 and on the 2 plays later, whatever, Jalen Green or whatever is not, what's his name? Jalen Reed caught like a 70-yard touchdown pass right after. 14-point swing on Nakobe Dean there. But that was probably Jalen Hurts' fault too, right? I would have raised you to be accountable if I was your mom. Again, don't put 2 L's in my name. No, that's why I go by Phil, not Philip, because then people can't mess up my name. Just like my sister Allison is with 1 L instead of 2. My mom was lazy, didn't want to put the second L when she was filling out the form. You're one of those bougie people who spell Philip with 1 L. Oh, I'm bougie now. Yeah, I have never once in my life, Duck, never once been called bougie. Just so you know. Yeah. Am I that far behind on comments right now? Jesus. I said the blinders on Phil, not Marshawn. I'm saying you and Marshawn have blinders on. You're willing to focus on 2 plays. Green Bay put on a clinic on how to defend the read option. I kind of feel like everybody has an idea now how to do the read option against Jalen Hurts. Yeah. The refs were calling so many flags early just to see if the stadium announcer could translate. Then now the lead ref needed a throat lozenge or something. His voice was shot. It's Portuguese down there. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so I'm caught up to the cherry bombs now. Stats may not make you smarter, but the only one I care about is a W. Exactly. What's Joshua got to say here? That field was trash. Absolutely. Saquon good. Yep. Defense looked good compared to last year. They were actually making tackles. Zach Bond. A lot of great comments here from you, Joshua. Absolutely. Agree. You did. You used the word blinders multiple times early on. I am accusing you of blinders because I've been accused of having blinders because all I want to see is the positive, supposedly. But I like to see it all. All. I like to see it all. Have we talked about the botch snaps? Yes. The shotgun is on Cam Jurgens. That was a snap where he just snapped it too soon. Now, the push on the 1 or 2 yard line that was fumbled or botched, I'm not a football expert. I don't know whose fault that is. That could be on Jurgens. That could be on Hurts. Maybe it's on both of them. I'm not sure. I'm no football coaching expert. That probably had at least some blame to go to Jalen Hurts on that one. I was surprised Carter wasn't flagged on the Love play for being too low. I was surprised. I don't think it was a dirty play. I don't think he tried to hurt him, as a lot of people want to say. Jalen Carter, confusing to me, Nooms. He made some great plays. He made some boneheaded plays, too. Taking a really bad personal foul penalty at one point. You know, Jalen Carter was hot and cold on Friday night big time. So Rodgers and White lost their starting gigs on their days off. Yeah, I don't know what you do with Devin White and Isaiah Rodgers now because you can't play Devin White over Nakobe Dean from Friday night. Now, you could probably say you could play Rodgers because Avonte Maddox, not Keely Ringo, started in the slot. And I was really surprised about that. I figured Ringo would play outside and Quinyon in the slot when they were nickel personnel. But they went with Avonte Maddox, and Avonte Maddox got picked apart. Like Avonte Maddox, I'm not even sure what he was doing. Avonte Maddox might be the new James Bradbury on this team. Like our biggest defensive player we criticize on a regular basis. So I guess you can bring Isaiah Rodgers back into the fold if he is healthy on Monday night. Because you can go Isaiah Rodgers on the outside, Quinyon Mitchell in the slot, and then Quinyon Mitchell back on the outside in base formations. I guess. Let me look. I got the snap counts up here for the defense. Quinyon Mitchell played 63 snaps. That was 94% of them. Monte Maddox 60, which was 90%. Keely Ringo, where is he on the list? Keely Ringo played 4 defensive snaps. Probably the 4 that Isaiah Rodgers missed, and that's it. So if we're doing stats, how many times did AJ Brown tie his shoes? Well, I missed that, Mike. Sorry. Okay, I see a pattern. Phil plays the under when he's in good mood after a win. Duly noted. Play the under? Oh, okay, gotcha. On the David Archeri. What's up, Bruce Bryce Harper? Hope you are well this morning. Dean got downhill with a purpose. It was going back. The only play that really stands out that he screwed up was there's 2. The drop pick 6, which was a 14-point swing. It happens, but that sucked. But there was a play he got beat. I don't know if it was a tight end or a slot receiver. Got behind him for a big gain. But outside of that, when he stayed in the box, when he stayed around the line of scrimmage, he was making plays. So there was a lot of considering he's basically been injured and basically been, non-existent for 2 years. Friday night was a very encouraging step forward into Kobe Dean's career, for sure. Phil, another bad day yesterday. Look, I don't even want to talk to Phillies, Bruce. I'll be honest with you. Losing two straight to the Marlins to end the weekend with football starting, I'm completely checked out on the Phillies till probably October now at this point. Phil is gaslighting us as usual. Oh, is that what I'm doing? Oh, okay, gotcha. At least the Eagles won. They did. But you would think if you're following this chat that they got blown out or something like that. I don't remember you bringing up the fumble. I have, on many occasions, brought up that 2-place in error, the fumble and the false start before the fumble. On many occasions, the biggest turning point of that game. I have brought that up many of times because that was the turning point. That drive of the Super Bowl is when the Chiefs got life, felt they had life back in. So I have brought that up on many occasions. Just like I have brought up on many occasions how great SherryTickets.com is. If you need sports tickets, concert tickets, theater tickets, go to the place with the best prices around online. SherryTickets.com, family owned and operated since 1946. The price you see is the price you pay. It's not like you're going to find a $50 ticket, then get the checkout, and it's going to be $200 with fees. No. Great prices, no hidden fees. And check this out. If you use promo code EOP10 at checkout, it saves you an additional 10% off on their already great low prices. So why would you overpay with the rest? Save with the best. SherryTickets.com, promo code EOP10. And back to the comments, which I've only got like 20 more to catch up on. Phil, I feel we need a players meeting and let them take over the team because Thompson, look, again, I'm not going to criticize Rob Thompson because that just makes me a hater. The camera work on the last play of the game was tremendous. The sack, the zooming in on Bond, the coverage of the team, got her with the helmet off. It was almost pre-scripted. That was the first pre-scripted play of our comment of the day. I'm awakened to the truth. Oh, the truth will set you free, right? Philip getting swole. Again, I shouldn't have told everybody how much I hate the 2 L's in my name because now everyone's just going to call me Philip. And that's it. If I should have spelled your name right. Oh, my God. Well, I'm not going to comment on that. Wins were scarce after week 11. Oh, they were. They absolutely were. 100%. I just have never seen Hurts as a cerebral quarterback, and now he doesn't seem as athletic. See, I'm torn on this part, this athletic part, Jack, because on that first down run he had, Jack, in the fourth quarter, I think it was on that long 7-minute drive, he looked ultra athletic. He looked great on that, right? There was 1 or 2 other quarterback draws or quarterback design runs. He looked okay. But on the read option, is it that he doesn't look athletic or does he look confused? Because that's what I'm not sure about, Jack. And again, I'm not an X's and O's guy. I'm not an expert by any means, Jack. I'm just a fan with a platform. The read options, he doesn't look athletic. He looks confused or he looks unsure of himself. On regular runs, he looks fine. There's a play where he danced around the backfield, avoided a sack, and hit a receiver downfield. That's athletic. It's the read option. And I don't understand it. And I don't know whether it's confidence, whether it's fear of injuries, whether it's not being able to read the play properly, maybe all of the above. But that is, if I'm going to make a criticism of Jalen Hurts, it's the read options is where I'm putting the criticism of him. Please pull up the instances where I use the word blinders. Dude, I've got 162 comments so far today. Not counting the ones I haven't put up on the screen. I'm not going back. Yes, it's Cam's fault. On the snap, on the shotgun one, was it Cam's fault? On the tush push one, I'm not sure on that one. I can't. I'm not sure how that works. We're not experts now. It just comes to botch snap at the one, but we rely on the eye test. Mike, you cannot make this. Oh my God. I don't even know what to say anymore. Smitty was absolutely clutch. Absolutely. Getting first downs, breaking tackles. Devonta Smith. I know A.J. Brown had the big touchdown catch, which was a huge play, obviously. But Devonta Smith had more clutch catches throughout the game. Maddox isn't fully recovered from his injury and needs to get back to NFL-ready looks. He played mostly safety in preseason. I mean, there was a reason Avonte Maddox the Eagles let him go into free agency. Nobody gave him a contract. And the Eagles brought him back on a cheap 1 year. I think it was like $3 million contract. Because he's at the bottom of the rung now, so to speak. He is coming back from an injury, etc. But I don't think he's just broke. Marshawn's got me so fired up. I just broke the tip, the clip off the side of my pen. That's what you do to me, Marshawn. We're stuck on a big size mismatch. I don't think he played badly. Well, we'll see against Atlanta next week. Phil can't guess like me because I don't have emotions anymore. My meds are kicking in. There we go. Nobody played 69 snaps. Huh? I'm glad to hear that. Are you sure? Do I have to fact check him real quick? Nope. 67 was the most on defense. Yep, he's right. No one played 69 snaps. I understand what, and I am sorry for bringing up the Phillies. Fly, Eagles, fly. We won. Absolutely. Look, we got to try to be positive at times. I know. Mitchie Poo's now 30 years old plus, and he's still making the same old jokes. Tush push won't work on a field like that. That play uses a lot of footing. Absolutely, Mike. Yeah, the footing was bad. The turf was awful. And look, if we lost the game, I would be blaming the field a lot more. I'd be talking about the field conditions a lot more. We won. I'm sure Packers fans are pissed off this morning. We're pissed off on Saturday morning with the field conditions. They probably blamed the loss solely on the field. That's the overreaction, instant emotion of a fan. Jalen is only hurt when he makes mistakes. I didn't say that. Never said that. Phil complains when he has too few comments. Then he complains when he has too many. You guys just love riling me up. 30 or 40 years ago, you had zero prayer of running a read option with much success in the NFL. Now everybody does it. There's ways to stop it. Technically, the quarterback is supposed to be athletic. All skill positions they're all more athletic than me. I'll tell you that much. I'm sorry, you're easy to manipulate. It's your fault my pen tip broke off, okay? That right there. Now I feel like I need a new pen. You broke my pen. And it's all your fault. You need to now mail me a new pen, okay? Box's Pizza Den. You can find my address. Mail me a new pen because this pen broken is your fault, Marshawn. 100%. Mitch, my son weighs 69 pounds and saluted. I'm so sorry. What is up, man? Chatter? Welcome to the chat late. Welcome. Yeah, can we get off of Jalen Hurts just for even a few minutes, please? Can we talk about Saquon Barkley? And look, Saquon Barkley, this is not to take anything from DeAndre Swift and Miles Sanders, who in the last 2 years had great seasons running the football behind our offensive line, which, yes, I criticize the Eagles' offensive line and pass protection, but run blocking, they're great. Can we talk about how special Saquon Barkley can be and will be for this team? 24 carries, 109 yards. It's a 4.5 average. 2 rushing touchdowns, plus 2 catches for 33 yards. Obviously, the 18-yard touchdown pass catch in the back of the end zone. Can we talk about the fact that he was on the field for a majority of the game. Kenny Gainwell had one rush, one pass. I mean, they did have Kenny Gainwell out there for the two-minute drill again, which I'm confused, but I think Barkley got banged up. Can we talk about the potential about what Saquon Barkley could do for this offense? What he could do for Jalen Hurts moving forward this year? Because, like, we just got a little tip of the iceberg, I kind of feel like, with Jalen Hurts. I don't even think we fully, truly got how deep this offense can be, how he opens up the field for A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith, how they open up the field for him. Can this offense, even if Jalen Hurts stinks and throws into triple coverage, be even more elite than we think because of Saquon Barkley? I mean, that Saquon Barkley performance was just something we've been dying for, a lead bell cow back. And all the Giants fans coming at us on Twitter saying, oh, he's going to get hurt. Don't worry, he'll be hurt in 2 days. Whatever. I'm going to enjoy it while I can. It was something special watching Saquon Barkley in an Eagles jersey for the first time. And I'm pretty damn excited about it. No. I want Marshawn to send it. I indulge in way too much flower power in the AM to be this negative. Exactly. Breaking news hurts this mood. Oh, really? Breaking news. I'm not even going to fact check that one. I'm going to assume it's accurate, Kyle. Just need Barkley healthy. Yeah. As long as he stays healthy. And there was that one play. I know he came out for that 2-minute drill, and I think he got banged up. I don't know if it was that play, but there was a play where he went down and he kind of landed on his knees and his body got bent backwards a little bit. I was like, ugh. And he got up, and then he came out for a few plays, and he was fine. Phil Ip is hot-tempered like Sonny Quinyon. You should have spelled it Phil and then UP, Phil up, because that roused me up a little bit too. I'm not gonna lie. When Saquon tripped on his first touch, I thought of we heard that the turf was bad, but I didn't think the turf conversation had been spoken about enough. I was like, oh, here we go with him tripping and like disaster, world falling right away, Marshawn. But then I started realizing how bad the field conditions were. So I kind of moved on from that really quickly there. But yeah, that Saquon Barkley trip on his first touch was it a trip or a slip? I don't even know. Kyle, that's great news. Thanks, Mr. Analyst guy. Yeah. Saquon is taking away valuable snap. He is. Poor Kenny Gainwell. Only was in there for the 2-minute drive at the end of the first quarter. Hold on. Where's my snap count sheet? Kenny Gainwell played 15 plays to Saquon Barkley's 61 plays. Just so you know. You know, it was fun. Britton Covey got on the field for 9 plays. Will Shipley was on the field for 4 plays. E.J. Jenkins was on the field for 3 plays. Johnny Wilson was on the field for 10 plays. Kellen Moore got everybody on the field. They didn't all get touches or targets, but he got everybody on the field. Just the presence opens up a lot. Having someone like Saquon Barkley and Kellen Moore's offense. I'm going to skip last year with the Chargers. You look at during his time in Dallas, all the wide receivers, Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb, having the younger version of Ezekiel Elliott opening up the field for the wide receivers and the quarterback. Now, I will say, I was a little surprised outside the one big pass caught, Dallas Goedert was not a bigger part of the offense. Now, maybe that was what the Packers were doing, but Dallas Goedert, I thought, was going to have a big first game in Kellen Moore's offense. He did not. I was kind of shocked by that. I really expected a little bit more. Guys, you're watching Training the AM right here on Edge of Philly Sports. Guys, wherever platform, any YouTube channel, Facebook, YouTube, please hit that like button, please. A lot of people watching, a lot of people commenting, but probably not enough likes. Guys, hit that like button if you do not mind. I would greatly appreciate it. If you're not subscribed, please hit the subscribe button or follow button, depending on the platform you're watching on. Please hit all those buttons. We're here live, 8 a.m., 5 days a week. This time next week, we'll be doing the show live from Mexico, from Cancun. Kyle double glazed Jalen and looked away at his shortcomings. Oh, my God. Giants do stink, 100%. So far on my picks this weekend, against the spread, I'm 8-6-1. That wasn't very good. Not a very good first week against the spread for me. Thank you, Giants. Yeah. Eagles smoked the Falcons. I thought the Eagles were going to lose to the Falcons. I watched a lot of that game yesterday to kind of prep. Dude, the Falcons might just want to go to Michael Penix Jr. now because Kirk Cousins ain't it. And that offense ain't it. So, yeah. Dallas, yeah. Dallas what? The least Jalen can do is send you a new pen from all of that defending you do. No, I want you to send me the new pen. Dak highest paid. Look, Dak played good yesterday. The Cowboys won. Dak is not a $60 million a year quarterback. That's all I'm going to say. The only thing I'll say about Dak is he is not a $60 million quarterback. He looks like he belongs in the Eagles jersey. Giants, thanks. I mean, could you imagine being a Giants fan? I know they're going to get crap for booing Daniel Jones leaving the stadium yesterday. But rightfully so. They should be booing the coach. They should be booing the GM. They should be booing their owner for allowing the GM still to have a job. Dude, I don't really feel bad for my, rivals. But to an extent, I feel bad for Giants fans because they gave up on Daniel Jones. Or they gave up on Saquon Barkley to keep Daniel Jones. And I feel bad for them. What's the worst quarterback situation in the NFL? Bryce Young with the Panthers? At least you could say he's only in his start of his second season. Or the Giants with Daniel Jones. I would say the Giants have a worse quarterback situation. Kenny G was used as appropriate change of pace. I don't want the guy used like Charlie Garner as part of Earth, Wind, and Fire. Was it Earth, Wind, and Fire or Thunder and Lightning? Wasn't Charlie Garner part of Thunder and Lightning? Earth, Wind, and Fire was him, Vaughn Hebron, and Deuce Staley. But there was also early in Charlie Garner, he was part of Thunder and Lightning, wasn't he? Yeah, look, the Commanders stink. I said Chase Daniel or Chase. I said they were going to be iffy at first. There was a lot of bad quarterback play yesterday, Jake, 100%. Johnny Wilson had a few nice blocks, but as receiver, he may have zero NFL career until he changes a number of things. Yeah, I kind of agree with that. Pound the like for Jalen's work this past week. That's right. Moore want to develop the timing in game. Goddard's timing with Hurts looks good. So does Calcaterra. So he worked it downfield. Yeah, he was just very inefficient or just not utilized. His Jalen Hurts' eyes just didn't go to Dallas Goedert. Maybe the play calls, maybe the linebackers for the for the Packers were doing a good job stopping him and covering him. I don't know. I just expected a big game. I didn't get it. I was stunned he was so bad. Eagles D-line going to feast. I hope. Our D-line was pretty non-existent in week 1 for us. I love being in this division. Isn't the NFC East the best division? I mean, probably a lot of divisions say that, but the NFC East is the best. Quarterbacks that get the huge paycheck usually regress for a season or more. So thanks, Dallas. Yeah, I don't buy that. I think it's more coincidence. It really may already be Penix's time. I would not be shocked, honestly. I wouldn't. Dak is 100% a $60 million quarterback. You know how I know? He's getting paid. He's 60. Yeah, okay. All right. In theory, he shouldn't be. Dak got super paid for real. What's that got to do? Like, that news dropped. I wonder if they knew it, like, on Saturday and the news just didn't get out. Could you imagine trying to focus on a game and at 10 a.m. or 1 p.m., you sign a $240 million and you got to focus to play a football game, even though you now know you got $260 million or whatever it is in the bank? That's got to be hard to focus. Like, why wasn't that taken care of in the beginning of the week, the middle of the week? Dallas screwing stuff up left and right. Dallas looked good yesterday. JJ decision-making will keep them from the Super Bowl for a while. Absolutely agree. Capel. They're not going to be able to sign Parsons, I don't think. Kirk Cousins is toast. Now, I will say, first game back after a serious injury. Maybe he gets into the swing of things. I don't know. But Kirk Cousins, yeah. Falcons might be going to their rookie pretty soon. How to mortgage his shot? Which one of his yachts? Bryce Young was supposed to save Frank Reich's job. Yeah. Where's Frank Reich these days? I haven't heard his name. I know he's not down there anymore. Bryce Young's bad. Marshawn. Bryce Young may be the worst quarterback Bryce Young might not even be a top 40 quarterback in the NFL. There's got to be at least 10 or 12 backups. Who would you take right now to start for your team? Kenny Pickett or Bryce Young? Tanner McKee or Bryce Young? I would be taking the Eagles backups. I mean, it's bad. Bryce is bad. Wilson is basically J-Jaw, has no fight in him. He's like a glorified tight end, really. Geez, relax, Noom. Wilson has played one NFL game, for goodness sake. Look, he doesn't have a lot of talent that jumps off the page at you, but he does do the dirty work, and teams need guys that do the dirty work. Earth, Wind, and Fire was Jacobs, Bradshaw, Ward. Davis looked fine. Missed out on about 2 sacks. Jordan Davis, he looked okay. Yeah, like the defensive line had some moments. The ends and the edge, Josh Sweat looked good. It was my biggest concerns was with Bryce Huff, Nolan Smith, and Jalen Carter's boneheaded penalty. So Jalen Carter's trying to be the next Dark Barnett. It seemed like on Friday night, but Jordan Davis played well. Jordan Davis clogged up the middle a lot. He made the opportunity for Zach. Jordan Davis helped Zach Bond and Nakobe Dean have good games. Milton Williams was in there for a few play breakups. Moro Jomo had a big play in the game. So there were positives on the defensive line. Yeah, exactly, Jake. I don't know. And honestly, no, I don't care. Bryce Young, I don't even know if he'd be a backup on some teams. Bryce Young is bad. He is very, very bad. McKee over Young and double it and give it to the next person. Pretty much. Like Bryce Young, like I was having a conversation with a few people on Twitter yesterday about this quarterback thing. Who's worse, Bryce Young, or whose situation's worse, the Giants or the Carolina? In the quarterback room, Bryce Young, Daniel Jones. And I was like, I kind of feel like Bryce Young might be the worst number 1 overall quarterback ever taken over Jamarcus Russell. Like, he is that bad that Jamarcus Russell might turn out to be a better career than Bryce Young at this point. Cousins flops on primetime games. It's his MO. That's what he does, and he will again next week. I hope so. My Stallions don't want Bryce. I don't know if Bryce Young would start in the UFL. Bryce Young should be in the USFL. I don't know if he would even start there. He is bad. Will Levis is pretty bad too. Yeah. Did you see the video? Will Levis throw that pick 6 at the end of the game, and he just dropped down on his knees and he held his hands up like, "Oh, what was I doing?" Will Levis is not a good quarterback. No, not at all. Where did I have all these guys? Hold on. I still have this up here. My quarterback list. I got to take off your comment there for a second. I have to zoom in here. I had Will Levis at 31, Bryce Young at 32. I had Daniel Jones at 28. Yeah. I think this is a very valid quarterback list at the bottom after yesterday and after the quarterback play yesterday. Josh Sweat wearing 19 is extremely weird, Marshawn. I just think any defensive end or edge rusher wearing 19 is weird. It just looked weird. It sure did. I'm not doubting that at all. I'm not we finally have found a common ground to agree on this morning. It took an hour and 18 minutes, but we agree on that one right there. Jalen Carter will perennial All-Pro. Oh, I don't doubt it. I still think Jalen Carter is an elite player. Dark Barnett was better than people realize. He just got caught for a lot of penalties. Jalen Carter, him taking that personal foul, that was a boneheaded thing. That he said he wants to be a captain. He wants to be a leader. You don't do that if you want to be a captain or a leader. He's got to learn to control his emotions a little bit better. Danny DeVito, I mean, he's as short as Bryce Young. So, yeah. Even Dimes has had some decent games. Bryce is awful. Absolutely. Absolutely. I heard Jerry Jones had to pay Dak because of inflation. Do you think Jerry is going to I don't know who he's going to endorse. Honestly, I don't care. Everybody gets so offended when somebody famous endorses one candidate or the other. I don't care who you endorse. Who I endorse is my personal business. Nobody will know who I endorse. Nobody will know who I vote for. I've already made up my mind. It is what it is. I don't care who endorses who. Joe Burrows was so bad yesterday. I really got to ask this. Are the Bengals a bad football team. I mean, Jamar Chase is great. Joe Burrows has been great at times. Joe Burrow's been banged up a lot throughout his career. They just seem like they're a disorganized franchise. Now, talent will win them some games, but the Bengals, to me, seem like kind of like the Cowboys, a dysfunctional organization. A team with Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase should not be as bad as they were yesterday. Will Levis is worse than Bryce Young. How the hell do you lose without the other team scoring an offensive touchdown? I don't know. Nakobe Dean needs a 50s jersey number, not 17. Yeah. Look, Nakobe Dean played great yesterday on Friday. He had a couple bad plays, but a very encouraging game for Nakobe Dean. Philly adds S to all names. What? Phil will endorse Jill Steins. Will I? I don't know about that. Phil, you are right. Whoever you vote for is a problem. I agree with that. Like, it's something I believe in very firmly. Like, I don't want to know who you're voting for. I don't want to talk politics, first off, on this show. But B, I don't care who's voting for who. You vote for who you want to. I don't want to know. I don't care to know. Your decision ain't going to affect my decision. And everybody gets so offended. I know, like, everyone's upset about who, Patrick Mahomes' wife is endorsing. This shit, Trumper, I think. Yeah. I don't know. I don't care. Like, it doesn't. I'm not going to watch less football because a quarterback's wife endorses a candidate. Like, oh, I'm never going to watch this team again, or I'm never going to support this singer again, or I'm never going to support this actor again because of who they support. I don't care. Disown Mahomes family over. Exactly. It's stupid. Like, literally, Barbara, it's stupid. It really is. It really is. Not saying Carter won't be this or that, but I don't think he has been as good as most people are saying so far. He was just another one that had great start last year, fell off in the second half of the season, Jack, and he played good on Friday night. Not great. Good. Respectfully to the chat. Exactly. Chase is holding out. He played Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase played on Sunday. He didn't play a lot, but he did play, I thought. Bengals look awful. The whole O-line looked bad. But they looked bad at times last year, too. Inconsistent at times last year. Like, I don't understand what to think of the Bengals. Like, I really, truly do not. Bengals were a one-hit wonder. That's a good way to phrase what I'm trying to say. Are they a one-hit wonder, the Bengals? Is Joe Burrow a one-hit wonder? Is he just a one-year good quarterback and he's going to live off of that for the rest of his career? I mean, he'll always be good, but will Joe Burrow ever be great? You look at the AFC with Mahomes, with C.J. Stroud, Aaron Rodgers and the Jets, the Buffalo Bills, the Ravens, all the teams in the AFC. Joe Burrow might never play in a Super Bowl again. I hate to say it. I think it's time to take Avante Outback Old Yeller style. Well, hopefully Isaiah Rodgers is back, Jake. I was surprised he played so much more over Keely Ringo. Kind of tells me something about what they think of Keely Ringo. He didn't play a lot last year until injuries and bad play forced him into the lineup. He lost the role to Isaiah Rodgers. Isaiah Rodgers gets hurt, and they didn't go to him. I was very, very surprised how they didn't even pivot in the middle of the game. Like, they just left Devonta out there the whole time. Oh, I'm a huge Nakobe Dean fan. He just needs to up his jersey number. Everybody gets so worked up, and I know I said about 19 on Sweat looks weird. I could care less what their jersey numbers are. Like, really. They can all have no jersey numbers. I don't really care. I don't buy a lot of jerseys. I don't own a lot of jerseys. Jersey numbers don't bother me. I just want Nakobe Dean to stay healthy and get better every single week. Absolutely agree. 1,000%. We're not talking about that today. We will not. I will be voting for, yeah. I don't care. No eye contact. I'm done with eye contact. You know what I'm not done with? PhillySportsTrips.com. You know what? We're going to retire it. We're going to throw it out there one more time. PhillySportsTrips.com had a fantastic trip to Brazil this weekend for the Eagles in Brazil game. We got to talk about Brazil a little bit throughout this week also. But make sure you check out PhillySportsTrips.com. Go to their website, sign up, mention EOP, mention Training the AM for all their great Eagles takeover trips to Tampa in a few weeks. New York to see Saquon. Go back home to New York in October. The bus trip to Baltimore. And, of course, Dallas week in Dallas, Texas, when the Eagles are going to march into Dallas, whoop some Cowboy ass, and take home a victory down there in Dallas November 10th. Guys, check them out, phillysportstrips.com, the premier travel and tailgate company there is in Philadelphia, so you could support your favorite Philadelphia sports teams on the road, guys. phillysportstrips.com. Don't miss it. And, guys, make sure you're hitting that like and share and subscribe button, because look at this. Look at all this great content, 7-day-a-week programming, 30 shows this week on the channel. And there's no Eagles pre- or post-game, and we still got 30 shows on the channel this week, guys. Make sure you're locked and loaded to Edge of Philly Sports. Oh, my God, I still got a lot of comments here, man. Got 4 minutes left, and I got so many comments. Carter seems immature to me. I think maybe that's a good way to sum it up, Barbara. That might be the way to sum it up. Even if someone no longer socializes with someone based on their political support, is their decision and none of your business. I agree. You will not hear me in November talking about election. You won't. Unless something psycho crazy happens. Jamar Chase wasn't. I thought I heard his name. Like, I wasn't watching that game. I was watching the Falcons game. I flipped over a few times. I thought I heard Jamar Chase's name, but maybe I was wrong. Maybe I do remember just hearing about him because of he had a tummy ache. He's going to have a lot of tummy aches until he gets his contract. Maybe that's what it was. Carter's only in his second season. I think he's fine. He gets his timing down a bit. Just want to control his emotions. That's it. Not just in football. Absolutely. I feel more emotions watching one Eagles play than I feel during the entire Philly season. Agreed. You mean you couldn't care less? I could care less. Landon Dickerson has the best jersey number. Always bringing me to a smile there, Mitchie Poo. I'm voting to cash Jalen Hurts off the island. Oh, my goodness gracious. Bringing the whole episode full circle. So, hold on. Did Jamar Chase play or did he not play? Someone's saying inactive. Someone's saying he had 4 catches. I thought I heard his name. Maybe I heard it because of his tummy ache. I have no idea. if Jamar Chase played. No clue. Hurts cussing out Juergens on the sideline because of the botch snap. That's so Tom Brady. He does model his game against Tom Brady. He has met in previous off seasons with Tom Brady. So there is a little bit of that there. Mitch, grow up. Yeah, please. He'll never grow up. Grow up, but never. Hold on. Got it. I'm trying to think. There's a Jimmy Buffett song. There's, yeah, never mind. Mitchie Poo will never change. I don't know if I want him to change or not, nor should he. Yeah, exactly. And you always believe in Joe Henry. On a side note, wrestling-wise, All Out Saturday night, didn't watch it. Now in the season 4 of Breaking Bad, almost done the series. But the whole Daniel Bryan plastic bag over his face and injecting Swerve Strickland with a needle in the middle of a ring, dude. I think AEW took it a little too far there. Throw up or grow up? Yeah, which one? Grow up, Peter Pan. Yeah. Mitchie, do you have John jersey? Now he is. It's getting a little over the top. I didn't watch. Yeah, I would never. I won't ever watch a pay-per-view from AEW again now. I thought that was a little extreme. All right, guys, let's bring it full circle. Let's start the wrap-up process. We barely got to talk about a 10th of what happened in the Eagles game, so obviously it's a great thing we got another show tomorrow, 8 a.m. We'll continue talking it. We'll talk more about the Brazil experience. Jamar played 6 for 62. TC Phil. We'll continue talking this Eagles game. Continue talking the Brazil experience. I love the national pride when they sang the Brazilian national anthem and that entire stadium was singing along. They had all the Olympians out on the field. We'll talk about that. We'll continue talking about the turf, the NFL getting it wrong. How much I do love, though, Friday Night Football. Friday Night Football is great for business. Fox's Pizza was cranking on Friday night because of the game. Talk about that. We really barely got to touch on Zach Bond, Nakobe Dean, Quinyon Mitchell, his play, Reed Blankenship, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson had some good, some bad. Had a little unnecessary post-game video out. A lot of defensive talk that we really still need to get into because, unfortunately, Marshawn, I'm fully blaming Marshawn, made us focus far too much on just Jalen Hurts' negatives. But, yeah. all out of real glass. I don't even get that. Um, but yeah, there's still so much to dive into. Um, but you know what? I've got one final sponsor that still got a shout out. Totally never got to them yet today, but I would hate to miss saying Dolan's Bar is the quintessential Irish American dive bar in Delaware County. Great food, great times, memorabilia giveaways, famous people always walking through the door. So go check them out for the next Eagles game. 24 East Sellers Avenue in Ridley Park. Tell PJ and the crew you heard about them right here on Edge of Philly Sports, trending in the AM. Tell them you want a live trend in the AM from Dolan's Bar. Make sure you guys do that. Make sure you check them out, DolensBar.com, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. Check them out, DolensBar.com. Again, make sure you're hitting that like button, that share button, that subscribe and follow button. I would greatly appreciate subscribe, please. Any platform you're watching on, hitting that subscribe button means a big deal to me and the entire Edge of Philly Sports team. After watching Breaking Bad, are you considering getting into the we're I think 4 episodes into season 4. Yeah. I am my wife just keeps asking me, I'm a smart guy, can't I start doing it? Like, I don't know if I want a gun put to my head at any time, but you never get anything. Yeah. Kyle, you are right. I saw multiple sites say we was sitting out due to an illness. Weird. I don't know what happened. Yeah, Marshawn was fired today. Look, I love it. You know what's so special about training the AM? Oh, look, there's more big things happening. Might have another thing coming out pretty soon here. Some new news coming out soon. But what I want to make sure always is important and that always everybody knows is that I don't care if we have differing opinions. I will discuss them, whether it fires me up, whether it doesn't, whether we disagree or agree. Everybody's opinion needs to be heard. No offense, Marshawn. We disagreed a lot today. We agreed on 1 or 2 things later in the show. But to the new people that watch this show on replay or in future days, this show, the comments that I put up on the screen, other shows would completely ignore them if it didn't fit the narrative that they want to talk about on that show. Trending in the AM is special, in my opinion, because all opinions have the opportunity to be heard. No one else does it like I feel I do. Marshawn, we're cool. I still expect a new pen. But outside of that, we're cool. Hurts had 3 to 4 really terrible plays, but his all 22 tape showed that there was a lot more positives than negatives. I haven't looked at his all 22. I don't look at the all 22 unless somebody like Shane Half posts a video on it. Little nugget there. Eagles check down. We're just going to say that to end the show. Eagles check down. Something new that might be coming soon. Anyway, but that's what trending in the AM is, where we all get a chance to talk. We all get a chance to have our opinions heard. Your opinions matter. The other shows don't think it. There's a lot of people trying to go one-on-one, go head-to-head with me on the morning show. 17 likes, Mitchie Poo? Not enough. Everybody needs to hit that like button. Please hit that like button. And the subscribe button and the follow button. Look, everybody tries to go head-to-head with me. But none of those shows care about you like I do, guys. So with that being said, we're going to wrap up the show for the day. I'm not saying anybody's name. We're going to wrap it up right here. We'll get back to this conversation tomorrow. I'll try to start out with defense. I'll try to focus on defense. If the conversation swings to the Eagles and the offense, it does, whatever. We'll see. Wednesday, we'll start looking forward to the Falcons. I'm hoping to get Martin Frank on here on Wednesday. We're still working on his schedule to talk about the experience for the reporters in Brazil, not being able to use Twitter, etc. That was a side note from this weekend. All the reporters sending text messages to their wives, controlling their Twitter feeds. I love it. But with that being said, guys, ring the bell. I guess I care less about the Phillies right now. Go Birds, and bubbles up to y'all till tomorrow.